Britenet helps turn your business ambitions into reality. For nearly 19 years, we've been a trusted technology partner, delivering quality and innovation, starting with what matters most, data. This audiobook was created with the support of AI technology. We hope you enjoy listening.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We live in a digital world, right?
Totally. Every click, every interaction, every single transaction, it all generates data.
Businesses are just, well, drowning in it. You're trying to do something important. Maybe pull a report for a big decision, or personalize a customer email, maybe even just get a new software tool working properly.
Right.
And the data you need, it just isn't right. It's incomplete.
Right.
Or it's conflicting. It's just messy.
Yeah, it's like trying to build something solid on, I don't know, shifting sand. You have the tools, the plans, but the foundation, it's shaky.
Exactly. And we talk all the time about how data is like the key thing in business now. It's driving decisions, powering AI, automation, all that stuff.
It's supposed to be the engine.
But what happens when that data, this supposedly vital resource, is actually flawed? It sort of feels like you're stuck, maybe like the white paper says, at that weird gas station with the really low quality fuel.
And that bad fuel just limits everything you try to do with that fancy engine, right?
Which is exactly why we wanted to do a deep dive into this today. We're looking at a white paper from Britenet. And the title, it really grabs you. Your business tools are only as effective as the data you provide them.
It does hit hard. It really challenges that idea that just buying the latest tech is the answer.
It really does. So our mission here is to unpack what this white paper reveals about, well, just how critical data quality is, especially for modern tools, AI, automation. And then maybe most importantly, look at the practical steps businesses can actually take to stop being held back by their data and, make it work for them instead.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the paper kicks things off with a pretty strong statement. Basically, data isn't just stuff you collect anymore.
No, it's moved right to the center. It's core to making decisions, seen as a strategic resource now.
And what's really interesting is how this lines up with where companies are putting their money. The white paper mentions a World Economic Forum report looking at 2025 priorities.
Ah, yes, the investment priorities.
Right, and the top ones. They're all about data. You've got 74% saying AI is a priority, then 42% investing in cloud computing, and 34% focusing directly on data analytics.
And you really can't do any of those effectively AI, cloud, analytics without sorting out the data first. It underpins everything.
It really shows how interconnected it all is, doesn't it? Data is the bedrock. The paper uses that common analogy, data is the new oil. We hear that a lot.
We do.
But then it immediately adds a crucial caveat. It says, look, without quality and consistency, it's not high-grade oil. It's that low-quality fuel sourced from an obscure border town gas station we mentioned.
It's a great image. It shifts the focus from just having lots of data, the volume, to whether it's actually usable, reliable.
Yeah, you might have tons of oil, but if it's dirty or the wrong kind, it just won't work properly.
Exactly. Gums up the works.
So if quality's the big issue, what are the specific problems that organizations are really struggling with? The source points out a few key challenges causing this mess.
Well, one of the biggest ones is just a lack of data consistency and standardization. Over time, different systems, different people, different processes.
Things get entered differently.
Exactly. Names spelled various ways, addresses formatted inconsistently, maybe even different codes for the same product. It makes getting a single, reliable view almost impossible.
And then there are the disconnected databases. The paper highlights this too. Data gets stuck in silos, right? Different systems that just don't communicate.
Right. So sales has one piece of info, service has another, marketing maybe a third, but nobody has the full picture of the customer.
And the paper cites MuleSoft here. Only 34% of organizations have fully integrated customer service systems. Only 34. That seems low.
It is low, and it creates real problems. Then you layer on top the issues with basic data accuracy and completeness.
Meaning the data just gets old.
Yeah, data decays, people change jobs, like you said earlier, companies merge or restructure, information becomes obsolete pretty quickly.
And using outdated data, that's not just unhelpful, it could lead you down the wrong path entirely.
Absolutely. And another huge problem is duplication. Multiple records for the same customer, the same product, often with slightly different, conflicting details.
Ah, the duplicate problem. I've seen that cause chaos.
It's incredibly common. And that MuleSoft report also found only 10% of companies don't face silo challenges, and nearly 3/4, 74%, admit their IT applications are too dependent on each other, causing inefficiency.
Wow. So these aren't minor glitches for a few unlucky firms. This is systemic for most businesses.
It really paints a picture of a widespread struggle to get that reliable single source of truth. And the white paper argues this directly impacts business decisions. You're building on, well, that shaky foundation we talked about.
Right, because if the data underneath is flawed, inconsistent, incomplete,
then any analysis you build on top of it, your sales forecast, how you segment customers, figuring out if marketing campaigns work, even financial reports,
that's suspect.
it's inherently flawed.
Yeah.
And beyond just making bad calls, the paper also brings up regulations, things like GDPR.
Compliance.
Exactly. These rules actually require data accuracy and proper management. So poor data isn't just inefficient anymore, it carries real risks, fines, legal trouble.
And losing customer trust, which might be even worse in the long run.
Definitely. That trust is hard to win back.
Okay, so the challenges are clear consistency, accuracy, silos, compliance risks. What does this feel like day to day? What's the tangible impact of this low-quality data?
Well, the white paper breaks down the consequences. First off, straight-up operational costs.
How so?
Think about employee time. When data is a mess, people spend hours manually cleaning things up, correcting errors, trying to merge data from different spreadsheets or systems.
Basically doing work the computer should be doing if the data was clean.
Precisely. It's time taken away from their core responsibilities, their actual strategic work.
Oh, yeah.
And that adds up to significant cost.
I can definitely picture that. Hours spent wrestling with spreadsheets.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
And maybe even more damaging is the risk of losing customers and eroding trust.
Because of those inconsistent experiences we mentioned.
Exactly. If the data is fragmented or wrong, customers get irrelevant offers. Or they get hit with the same marketing message from 3 different departments. Or they have to explain their whole history every time they contact support.
That would be incredibly frustrating as a customer. It makes you feel like they don't know you at all.
It really does. And remember that MuleSoft stat. At least 80% of teams in areas like data science, tech, sales, customer service, they all say they need better integration.
80%.
Without it, you just can't deliver that seamless professional experience. It looks unprofessional, erodes loyalty, and eventually customers might just leave for a competitor who seems to have their act together.
That customer trust angle feels particularly powerful. It's not just about efficiency, it's about the relationship.
It absolutely is. And finally, the white paper hammers home that poor data quality is a major roadblock for adopting newer technologies, specifically automation and AI.
Ah, right. The foundation problem again.
Yes, these advanced tools need clean, structured, consistent data to work well. You can buy the fanciest AI platform,
But feed it garbage data.
and you'll get garbage results. Unreliable predictions, flawed recommendations, automated processes that go wrong. It just won't deliver the promised value.
So those data silos and the lack of integration we talked about, they literally prevent you from getting the complete, clean picture that AI needs to learn effectively.
Correct. So poor data quality isn't just causing problems now, it's actively limiting your ability to innovate and use the technologies of the future.
Okay, that lays out the problems and the impact pretty starkly. Let's flip it around then. What's the upside? If an organization actually tackles this, what's the business value of improving data quality?
This is where it gets really positive. Because improving data quality isn't just about fixing things, it's about actively creating value. The most obvious benefit is better business decisions.
Oh, so?
Well, with accurate, reliable data, your sales and marketing teams can finally do proper targeting, real personalization. They can see what's actually working and optimize campaigns effectively.
Which should lead to better results.
Directly. Higher conversion rates, improved customer retention, better return on investment. Because they're operating based on truth, not guesswork.
Makes sense. What else?
Next up is increased operational efficiency. Clean data is basically the bedrock for effective automation.
Right, because you remove all that manual cleanup work.
Exactly.
Right.
You eliminate those manual tasks, processes run faster, there are fewer errors, and the business can scale more easily because it's not constantly hitting data bottlenecks. It lowers costs and frees up people.
Okay, better decisions, more efficiency. What's the third area?
The third major benefit highlighted is achieving compliance with regulations and boosting security.
Mitigating those risks we discussed.
Precisely. Good data management practices significantly cut the risk of fines from things like GDPR. And strong data security doesn't just prevent breaches, which is critical legally, it also builds that essential customer trust and protects your market reputation.
So it's really a shift from constantly fighting data fires to proactively using data to drive growth and build trust.
That's a great way to put it. It becomes an asset, not a liability.
Okay, the value proposition is clear. So for a business listening to this thinking, yes, we need to do this, what are the actual steps? The white paper outlines a path, right? Where do you start?
Yes, it lays out a practical approach. And the very first step, crucially, is a current state analysis.
Figuring out how bad the problem really is.
Exactly. Before you fix anything, you need a clear diagnosis. Identify where the issues are, the inconsistencies, the duplicates, the outdated stuff. Map out all your data sources. Understand how data flows or doesn't flow between systems, and see how it's actually being used in your key processes right now.
Like a health check for your data.
A very thorough health check. Once you have that baseline, the next step is data standardization and normalization.
Making everything consistent.
Yes. This is where you establish the rules. Uniform formats for addresses, dates, names, making sure required fields always get filled in, eliminating ambiguity. Basically, ensuring everyone and every system is recording data the same way.
So everyone's speaking the same data language, essentially.
Perfectly put. Then the third key action is data integration.
Connecting the silos.
Connecting the silos. This means putting solutions in place, maybe integration platforms, maybe cloud data services that allow your different systems, your CRM, your ERP, marketing tools, etc., to automatically share data back and forth.
So data flows freely instead of being trapped.
Right. You build that complete, unified view you need. And finally, the white paper really stresses this isn't a one-off fix. You need ongoing implementation of data governance processes.
Meaning it has to become part of how you operate.
Absolutely. It's about establishing continuous practices, defining who owns which data, setting clear rules for access and updates, and regularly monitoring key metrics to track data quality over time. It requires ongoing vigilance.
That sounds like a solid roadmap. Analysis, standardization, integration, and then ongoing governance. It's not just tech, it's process and culture too.
It really is. Technology enables it, but process and a commitment to data quality across the organization make it stick.
Now, to make this more concrete, the white paper shared a couple of case studies, real-world examples. The first one was Education First, EF, right? A big global company.
Yes, EF. They had classic big company challenges. Outdated IT systems causing problems, complex sales processes that varied everywhere, high maintenance overhead, and just a critical need to scale things up to handle huge amounts of data daily.
So what did they do? How did they apply these steps?
They did a major overhaul, started with that analysis, that audit. Then they unified their sales process globally onto Salesforce using Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and others. They built new modules, improved monitoring, basically integrated things to streamline how data flowed and how people worked.
And the outcome?
Pretty dramatic. Faster, more efficient operations, a sales process that could actually scale globally, easier maintenance, fewer system errors, which was huge for user confidence. People started trusting the data again.
That sounds like a huge win, not just technically, but for the people using the systems every day. What about the second case, the gaming industry example?
Right. This one was interesting because it's such a fast-moving, heavily regulated industry. Their issues were around adapting quickly to new rules, modernizing the systems on their gaming machines, getting real-time data sync working, meeting high player expectations for smooth experiences, and just needing better data for decisions.
So a focus on the player experience, but underpinned by data.
Exactly. They did a user journey review, redesigned interfaces, rebuilt core player management and loyalty systems, integrated mobile apps, got that real-time data sync working, and built out advanced analytics, all while ensuring compliance like GDPR.
What kind of tech did they use for that?
A mix of things. Salesforce for the customer-facing side, but also a robust back-end with Java, Spring, modern web tech like Angular, APIs connecting everything, strong database management. It was a comprehensive tech approach.
And the results for them?
Big improvements in player satisfaction and engagement, a much more modern, appealing look and feel, smoother service across different channels, and crucially, faster, more data-driven decisions for the business, making them more competitive.
These examples really show it, don't they? Addressing data quality isn't just some back-end IT task. It's fundamental business transformation.
They perfectly illustrate how applying those steps, analysis, standardization, integration, governance, leads to real, tangible business value.
Which brings us right back to that central theme, especially regarding AI. Why is the white paper so insistent that data quality is the real foundation, maybe even more important than the AI tech itself?
Yeah, the paper is really strong on this point. It argues that AI isn't magic. Its power is completely dependent on the data it learns from.
And it warns against jumping on the AI bandwagon just because everyone else is, right? Without clear goals, or critically, without having your data house in order first.
Exactly. Doing that often leads to disappointment because the AI simply can't perform well.
Because AI doesn't create information, it just finds patterns in what you give it.
Precisely. If you feed it messy, inconsistent, inaccurate data, it will learn the wrong patterns. It will make bad predictions. Its recommendations will be off. The automation might fail.
It's that fantastic analogy they used. Just as the best engine needs quality fuel and an outstanding cook needs excellent ingredients.
AI and CRM only work as well as the data they operate on. The quality of the input dictates the quality of the output. It's that simple.
And they even bring in that philosopher, Feuerbach.
Right, Ludwig Feuerbach. The quote is something like, "What we do, how we act and think, is closely related to our nourishment."
And applying that to tech, your tools are only as good as the data you feed them, their nourishment.
It's a really powerful way to frame it. It shifts data from being just information to being the essential fuel, the essential nourishment for your business technology.
So neglecting data quality isn't just inefficient.
It actively limits your potential. It prevents you from truly benefiting from AI, from automation, from making the best decisions. Success requires that investment in standardization, integration, and building a culture that really values data management.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive based on the Britenet white paper, your business tools are only as effective as the data you provide them. The main takeaway feels crystal clear. Data isn't just oil.
No, it's more fundamental.
It's the essential nourishment, as the paper puts it. It determines the health, the effectiveness, the intelligence of your tools, especially AI. Investing in its quality isn't just a good idea.
It's foundational, non-negotiable if you want to unlock real value.
A really critical point for any business today. So, as you, our listener, think about all this, maybe consider one specific place in your own work. Is there a tool, a process, a decision where you suspect deep down that poor data quality might be holding things back?
Where things just don't feel quite right or results aren't what they should be.
Exactly. And thinking about those steps we discussed, analysis, standardization, integration, governance, where would you even start trying to understand the current state of the data in that specific area? It's something to ponder.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed it and that it helps you take the next step in your journey toward better data quality. Curious about how to improve your data quality? Contact us at britenet.eu.